Everybody smiles in the same language. A smile, let your light come shining through.
Welcome to the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow podcast. I'm Sandra M., coming to you from Santa Fe, New Mexico, the land of enchantment. I interview people from all parts of the world about what happiness means to them. What are they in love with? In each episode, we'll give you a key to happiness to include in your life. And of course, we'll play a happy tune from my live Celebrate Happiness Roadshow.
A smile doesn't cost you anything.
Welcome to the third season of the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow podcast. And don't forget to catch up on any episodes from seasons 1 and 2 you might have missed. Today we're talking with Katrina Holder, founder, director, and AMI elementary lead teacher of Mariposa Montessori School in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Katrina was originally inspired to pursue her degree in education by the children from Montessori schools whom she taught in the 80s at the Santa Fe Ski Basin. She observed that these children possessed a sophisticated sense of independence, self-direction, and responsibility. This initial introduction to Montessori children led her through an in-depth study of schools throughout the country, where she was continually impressed and inspired by Dr. Montessori's unique child-centered form of education. Katrina created La Mariposa Montessori School with the vision of providing children with an outstanding education in a beautiful and well-prepared environment, which includes a unique animal husbandry program. Her vision has always included landscape campus to be incorporated into their botany study, along with a photovoltaic system to study energy and generate over 100% of La Mariposa Montessori's electricity. Now that these mile markers have been achieved, she is looking forward to a celebratory 31st anniversary year. In her spare time, Katrina continues to enjoy the mountains, hiking, skiing, and riding horses. She is also a playful and energetic dancer who regularly enjoys tearing up the dance floor. Welcome, Katrina, to the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow podcast. You know, I am very excited to talk with you about happiness and how it has manifested in your life.
Thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome. So what are your thoughts about happiness in your life?
Well, my opinion is happiness is a state of being, and it's a state of being that I choose regularly and have always, I guess, since I was born, and was always called a happy baby.
Really? So your mother thought, was it just your mother and your dad or other people, and it was because you were smiling all the time or excited about everything that you were learning? What was it about that you were so happy?
That would be exactly it, is that I was excited, I was interactive, I was curious, I was gleeful, and it went beyond my parents and went beyond my grandparents and family, and it was something that just was a way of being that I always seemed to have enjoyed experiencing from the time I was born.
Yes, I can get that. I understand that, because I think and I know that you're in the educational field, so you know more about this than me, but I just think some children come into the universe or the world, and they're just like a light. Somehow their light just shines so brightly. Have you noticed that in all the children that you have? I know over 31 years you've been running the La Mariposa Montessori school?
Well, I've been teaching for 45 years, and I notice some children have a brighter light than others.
Mm-hmm. And is that why do you think that is? Is it just inherent? How young are they when they come to the school?
Well, the children are anywhere between the ages of 2 and 12, and I work with the children that are in the 9 to 12-year-old range.
Mm-hmm. So at 2 years old, I don't know a lot about children. They're talking by then?
Yes.
Okay. And so you notice that they do have this sort of gleeful, curious, interactive approach to whatever they're experiencing in their world?
A very curious state of being, very interactive, very sensorial, and very tactile. They generally are so very glad to learn and explore and share, and that's what many children are, but not all children.
Interesting. Do you think it has anything to do with intelligence? Like, I don't know,
No.
IQ? I know. No.
No.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah. So, elaborate. So what do you think it has to do with?
Well, I don't exactly have my finger on the pulse of why, but I think that human beings are born to learn and explore and live life, to the best of their abilities. I think that that's the sort of the human potential, but I also know that a lot of things can interfere with that.
Right. Yes. I think we're all pretty well versed in what can interfere, but I don't think a lot of people really come from the position or come from the mindset that we are born to learn, to explore, and to live life. I started this podcast because I watched that movie Born Free. Remember about the lion?
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever see
Absolutely.
that movie?
Oh, yes.
No.
Yes.
And I thought, why not people? I thought, I feel like I was born free. I've always felt that way. And I'm just thinking maybe this is what you're really talking about, that we're born to learn, to explore. Isn't that a sort of kind of freedom to be alive? I mean, to really be alive, you have to be able to do that.
Yep, and to engage and to have the opportunity to collect experiences and then pave the way for more.
Mm-hmm. So I have been to your school many years ago, but I do remember a beautiful experience that I had. Were they llamas? I think they were llamas, weren't they?
Yes.
And you and I walked the llamas, and I can remember thinking, oh, Lord, I wish I would have had this kind of schooling. I mean, and then a couple of times you invited me back, and we did this llama walking, and, it's not so easy to walk a llama, as I remember. Really?
Oh, yeah.
They stop and they eat trees and they look at you like all this kind of stuff. It was so much fun. It was just so much fun. And so I do know that you have an animal husbandry program there. And why have you incorporated that? Is it got to do with nature, freedom?
Yes, and the Montessori philosophy has a whole stewardship component, but also a care for other living beings is an integral part of the philosophy.
Mm-hmm. And why do you think that's so?
As we move from self-awareness and care for self and family and familial awareness and, the extended family and community, and incorporating all that a community needs to interact with, the whole animal world is right at our fingertips, starting with the spider that we catch in the classroom and we let go outside. It's part of honoring the life and all the beings on this miraculous planet.
Right. And again, animals and nature, they sort of already understand how to interact with each other, I would imagine, and they have a sense of family and a connection. I've always felt that animals have a connection to the world that people don't have, or maybe have forgotten. Do you have any thoughts on that?
No, but I'll think about it.
Well, I'm going to say that this makes me very happy, because when I'm with animals or when I'm watching animals interact or be, I just feel more alive than I do when I'm with humans. Because in some sense, they understand, and this is just my thoughts, they understand the unknown parts of the world that in my opinion, human beings are mostly afraid of. We're afraid of the wild. We think, coyote and a wolf or this or that. We have to protect ourselves and all this sort of thing. And yet, I just think the wild understands, the animals understand. Okay, I'm just going to say it. What life is really all about. Somehow I just think they understand something that we don't. So you're going to think about that, or do you have some thoughts on that?
No, I think that's a thoughtful observation.
Well, I know you have lots of animals up there. So,
yeah.
I mean, those llamas definitely have a personality. They definitely make it known what they want. And
yes.
And as we were walking, they were seeing, you could just sense that they were seeing the world that we were not, definitely that I was not seeing, And I don't know, you can feel it in their breath. You can just feel it in their movement. Well, that's how I think about it, So what? Yeah, what other animals do you have there?
Well, we've got horses and a donkey. We've got lots of goats, and we've got pigs, and we've got old hens, and we have baby chicks, and of course we've got goldfish.
Uh-huh. That's quite a menagerie, right?
Yeah, it's enough for me to be on my best every day. Taking care of other living creatures is a real responsibility. And
yes. And so do you think that just being able, going back to the children there, that you're at the school, the ability to interact with these animals in any way teaches them Well, I'll just say, what do you think it teaches them?
Well, the awareness of other living beings and their needs, and having, kindness and respect for other living beings, and helping to care for other living beings, I think is really important. And there's a lot of care. And in the summer, there's an extra amount of care, as we're dealing with fly season and whatnot, and the heat, and just, taking care of making sure the animals are set up to take care of their needs and the environments they have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned it teaches them to take care of other animals, to take care of other living beings, and you mentioned kindness. And I really believe that kindness and empathy should be actually taught in schools. I follow the Dalai Lama through the Mind Life Institute, and for years, various psychologists of the Mind Life Institute, which I think is in either North or South Carolina, they visit the Dalai Lama, and from his point of view, from the Buddhist point of view, they're asking all kinds of questions. And one of the things was that instead of using religion and whatever religion it may be to teach love and kindness and empathy, etc., he felt, the Dalai Lama brought the idea that outside the concepts of religion, which has more to it, that this should be taught to young children. I don't know how young exactly, maybe 5, 6, 7. They should be taught just the concepts of empathy and kindness, not only to other animals, to other living beings, but to each other. So here you are talking about the animals, taking care of the animals teaches them how to be kind. Do you think that crosses over into how they treat other children and treat themselves? Are they more compassionate as a result?
I believe so.
Okay, and how does it sort of manifest? What do you see among the children?
Well, let me think. So what I see is, the inclination to want to observe and study and learn about creatures, insects, reptiles, all kinds of things. And so the children become great observers. They also like to capture things. And so they set up little environments, and we have a release at the end of the day requirement. And so they create little environments, and they observe their stink bugs or whatever it is they've caught. And then they observe them for the day and release them before they go home. And it's really important to them, if they've forgotten to let the whatever go, that next morning they come rushing in to see, how is it? Is that beetle okay? Is that lizard okay? Are they? And then, they always look for a suitable place to release. And they are also really, when we take the butterfly through the catalyst, or the cycle of going through the transformation and metamorphosis into a butterfly. They love that whole process. And one of the things we've done a number of times is incubate eggs. And the older children, they'll go by and they'll take a peek here and there, but they're not as inclined to just sit and stare at the incubator day after day after day, hour after hour, waiting for the first thing to happen. And those 3, 4, and 5-year-olds will stay staring, waiting for the first movement, waiting for the first sign that a chick has really developed and is really about to emerge. It is quite amazing to watch that kind of focus, because, you know, that's one of the things that a human is developing, is the ability to focus, and to watch a little 3-year-old do that and stay with it until the first egg hatches all the way through the last egg hatching is pretty remarkable.
So is that like a sense of wonder? I mean, I know you're talking about the observation, but this is something they've never seen before, right? And it's sort of, isn't it birth? It's birth, isn't it? I mean, it's like something alive is going to come out. I would imagine that would be intriguing beyond description.
It was, it's so intriguing, and we don't always do the whole process of incubating, but, you know, the years that we have, the kids have just been beyond, you know, interested, focused, literally running into the school in the morning to come check on things. You know, you can tell that they left the day before, and they've been, you know, just holding the moment to when they could come back in and see how things have progressed. And and that, I think, is a human tendency to want to observe, and I think the whole life cycle is fascinating for all people, but little children are particularly interested in watching it without any interruption. It's quite remarkable.
Right. Well, it puts me in mind of on the Facebook, right? And those eagles, weren't they eagles who were up on some, in New York City, on some balcony or something like that? They had made a nest way up in the upper reaches of some apartment building, and they had a camera going, and most of the United States was checking in constantly, when are these eggs going to, and then the little eaglets, right, and then how they're going to fly. And these are adults, including myself, constantly checking in. So it is this whole concept of wonder, not only observing, but just the miracle of life itself. I think people have forgotten about that. You know, people don't. Going back to the Dalai Lama and this whole concept, they set up an experiment in some school. This is the psychologists at the Mind Life Institute, where they took one class, two classes, both around 7 or 8 years old, to some hospital where kids had cancer. I don't know whether it was St. Jude's or someplace like this. And so one class was told that they would be given, if they went and, they participated and, talked to the children in the hospital, etc. When they came back, they would be given a gift or whatever it is, some kind of a present. And the others were just said, we're just going to go and chat with them and be friends and, see who you would like to see again and that kind of thing. So they both went, but they didn't go at the same time, on different days. And the ones that were going to get the present never wanted to go back. The ones that were just going to chat with these children and so forth wanted to write letters, they wanted to connect. And this was one of the ways that they were experimenting on empathy and connecting in a real way with people who are not, people who are ill, children who are ill, basically, going through chemo and so forth. And I thought that was very interesting that human beings don't teach this, but you obviously do in your school.
It's a big part of our program, and mentoring younger children is a big part of our program. And and then we have service projects that the children volunteer to participate in. And we go to the Heart and Soul Sanctuary and work with Natalie Owens with the with a variety of animals, but a lot of socializing puppies and kitties, and supporting her great work at the no-kill shelter.
Yes.
We also go to one of the local assisted living centers, and we work with Assistance Dogs of the West. And the thing that is, these children do this during what would be their recess time. So they take a quick lunch and they give up their recess to go and do this service work. So it's something that they're willing to give of themselves and then also give up something. And that is, I think, a big acknowledgement that I think human beings from the time we're very little care about others and want to cultivate relationships in a positive way and support the community and leave it better than we found it kind of attitude.
Yes. I have been to your school, so I know how they make their own food, right? Don't you still cook your own stews and things like that? They cook and so forth, and it's much more fluid, and they're not just doing reading, writing, and arithmetic and animal husbandry. They have art classes and many other things to develop the interests of children, right? To keep their curiosity level high.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of electives and enrichment programs, and there is definitely that core group of reading, writing, arithmetic, because that is an essential set of skills to have mastered to have success and freedom in the world, is to have great communication skills, and reading, writing, and math are pretty important for those to happen.
Absolutely. I didn't mean to minimize reading, writing, and arithmetic, and science, and chemistry, and all these other.
Yes.
Not to minimize it, but I do. Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
Well, we do try to find the areas that the children are most interested in, and then pack the reading, writing, and arithmetic around those areas. And for some children, it's going to be geography, and some of it's going to be history, some it's going to be music and theater. Like it's going to be different for different children. But there's definitely an opportunity to find a child's passion and help cultivate it. And we've got a lot of really great guides or teachers in the community to help facilitate children's interests in so many different areas.
So I need to just ask you, all the hard work that you've put into this and founding this school and making it work and having all the electric power, as you said, I think through sun power, that type of thing. I mean, it's a lot that you have done. And I'm wondering, does that, I can't believe that doesn't make you feel happy and content and very grateful for what you've done with your life. But I'd like to know what you feel about, I mean, I'm telling you what I think you feel, but.
It's definitely a lifelong love and a passion that I've been fortunate enough to pursue, and fortunate enough to have family and friends who have supported me in my passion, in my pursuit. That's pretty important, to have family and community support to be able to do this work.
But it makes you personally very happy, I would imagine.
It makes me exhausted much of the time, is what it does. And it makes me very, I am definitely very grateful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, I talk to a lot of people who, they're in jobs particular that they might not really enjoy that much, right? And then they sort of put their passion in sort of sandwich it in around what they are doing for money and this and that. And I just think it's so wonderful that you were born, as you said, a happy, curious, gleeful child, excited about life, and you just went out and created an environment, basically a school, right, where you got other people, children, taught them how to have the same kind of gleeful, open, curious way of approaching life. I mean, this is a huge contribution to the world. And I am just so wonderfully excited to have you on the program and to have other people hear what you have done with your life. It's not so easy. As you say, I'm exhausted most of the time, right? But you have done it, and you've contributed so much, and I'm just very honored to have you. I mean, I've known you on and off for a very long time, and I'm just in awe of what you have created. Well, and I hope you will invite me up.
I think there's a piece of it that that ties back to the beginning when we first started our conversation is that I really remember right from my earliest memories being a very gleeful child. And I do think it's a human tendency to be leaning towards those types of expressions. And we all have all the emotions and all the expressions. But the biggest thing that we try to cultivate in our environment at La Mariposa is the opportunities for children to find their way, their interests, their passions, and what really has, sometimes been turned upside down. So I don't take very much responsibility for children being gleeful and happy. I try to provide an environment that really cultivates their natural glee and their natural curiosity, and that I'm there to witness it is, certainly a ginormous payback.
On that note, I think we've come to near the end of our time together. Is there anything else you want to let our listeners know before we close?
Thank you for having me on the show and spending this much time talking about my life's passion and my school and my work. I appreciate it. And I'll be seeing you out dancing here soon, won't I?
Oh, absolutely. We both love to dance.
Yes. So thank you so much. And thanks for your good work for giving people an opportunity to explore this really important topic.
Monthly Key to Happiness 20. Take yourself out for some fun. Going out alone can be very enjoyable, and who knows who you might meet. Go to your favorite restaurant, take in a movie, or go on that trip you've always dreamed of. Spending some deliberate time alone can help you reconnect with what truly makes you happy. Newsflash, please sign up for your copy of our Keys to Happiness at sandramcknight.com. Thank you for tuning into Season 3 of the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow podcast. And if you enjoyed the conversation, please help spread the word by sharing with your friends and family. And don't forget to catch up on any episodes from Seasons 1 and 2 that you might have missed. Before we go, I'd like to thank today's guest, Katrina Holder, for sharing her happiness story. And to share your happiness story on the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow podcast, send an email to Sandra@sandramcknight.com.
your smile on, you can't go wrong. You'll find that love is all around. Follow your bliss, no one is against you.